Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and welcome to the first of probably 3 videos talking about the different job changes that are going to be coming on the global side of War of the Visions. They're already on the JP side, and if you're like me, you've heard about these job changes. We've seen some of them with the summer units, but it's very overwhelming. We don't really have a resource to kind of pull from to talk about all the individual specific changes. And the only source we really have is Senai, who's been posting and updating when these do go live on Reddit. And even then, we don't have like a centralized source. So in this video, my goal is to talk about all the job changes. We're going to list all of Senai's Reddit threads, which talk about the class updates. Most of his information is correct. There is some adjusted information, which I did change based off of WoTV-Calc's information. And he said that could happen because of translation when we were talking and when I let him know that I was going to be making this video and asked for his permission to link to his work. So there is some information that's just a little bit, wishy-washy, but that's pretty normal with translation. The goal of this video series, though, I really want to create a PDF that just lists all of the job changes that are going to be coming because there is an overwhelming amount of them. So we're going to go ahead and go through the first 12 jobs, or the first 3 threads that have been released for those of you who have followed Senai's posts, and we'll talk about the changes. We're also going to touch on the summer unit job changes as well, because I feel like a lot of people, even though we already have these changes on the global side, may not realize what the changes fully are, or even realize that, for example, Luel has a different change as well as Summer Elsewhere, right? Like they both have their job level 25 ability changed, and I think there may be a lot of people who don't realize that. So let's go ahead and dig in. All right, long introductions aside, I'm going to go ahead and make my webcam disappear here. The first class we're going to talk about is Scholar. Now, Scholar gets an update to Law Preservation, which is going to increase debuff resistance for all elemental resistances by 100 for 3 turns. Pretty powerful. Most of the time, we're not running a ton of Scholars. We're not running this. Could be powerful in some PvE situations, a little bit niche. What's more interesting, I think, particularly for PvE, is going to be the buff to Earthen Calling here. And it's not just Earthen Calling, it could be Tidal Calling, it could be any of the other calling abilities that Scholars have. It was already pretty powerful. It already boosts Evocation Gauge, and it already boosts Elemental Attack for the individual units that you were able to hit with it. It was wide-reaching. One of my favorite buffs in the game. It got buffed to increase Evocation Gauge boost to 100 for 3 turns for allies, and it gives single target resistance 25 now for allies as well. Overall, just an incredibly powerful boost, and you're going to be using this a lot in PvE if you do have a Scholar main job or sub job set. Luel did get a job level 25 upgrade. So her job level 25 ability, Invocation of Free Action, is now going to restore up to AP 30 for allies, which is going to be really good. It's also going to give agility 20% for allies and agility 20% for herself as well. Summer Elsewhere gets an additional buff to her job level 25 ability, Law of Safeguarding. Previously, this granted Protect, and it granted a 30% physical damage taken barrier for 3 times. Now it's a 50% for 3 times for self, so definitely a significant buff if you are going to be taking Summer Elsewhere against physical type enemies. Kotodama Wielder also got quite a few changes. Unevadable Pain was a 100% hit chance ability at 141% modifier. A lot of people actually set sub Kotodama just to actually utilize this. I know a lot of people use this with, back when Evasion was really dominant, they used this with Elena. But the cast time on this actually got taken away, which is awesome. We got Bursting Light, which is the conal-based attack, is upgraded to have 100% hit chance as well. So Kotodama is just a 100% hit chance machine now. Anti-Magic Wall is going to increase AoE resistance 20 for 3 turns for self. It's also going to have the original magic damage taken minus 50% for 3 times for self. A Heart-like Needle's the buff that Kotodama Wielder primarily uses. Previously, it gave Magic Attack 25 and Spirit Penetration 20 for 3 turns, and the Magic Attack 25 was given to allies. Now it's also given Magic 40% for 3 turns for allies as well. We have Summer Ketone got a buff, so Her job level 25 ability is now going to have the capability to not only decrease slash attack and magic attack, but it's going to decrease AoE resistance 25 for 3 turns to targets. I don't see this really making a huge impact for her, but it is something nice to have. And then of course we have Moore, and interestingly with Moore, Moore has always been kind of a anti-magic fighter, I feel like. And with the upgrade to Moore's job level 25 ability, which also has a chance to inflict silence on the opponent, you do get a decrease in spirit penetration 30 on the targets, as well as that decreased 39% magic on the targets as well. So overall, a very powerful capability for Moore here, and if you're able to get this attack off before anything else, gonna be very good against enemy mages. Ranger is another job that received a change, and Ranger's changes are actually pretty useful. I've actually utilized some of them in the recent select quests with Uni. So Shadowbind got upgraded to reduce counter chance 100. It also got an increased range +1, which is really good. Supercharge had its cast time reduced, which is great, and Mega Charge had its cast time reduced, as well as Mega Charge now decreases single target resistance 25 for 3 turns. I think this is a really big update for Mega Charge, and I actually found myself using Mega Charge and Supercharge a lot more. The cast time reduction is significant. The single target resistance down is significant. I actually found it to be very powerful in select quests. Barrage got an AP reduction, so it got reduced down to 40 AP. And Lilith's ability, Armor Break Arrow, gained the ability to decrease defense penetration 30 for 3 turns on the target. So again, decreases defense, increases her own defense, and decreases the opponent's defense penetration by 30. Overall going to make her stronger, take more hits, and benefit kind of her build as well. So lots of good things going here in Ranger, and there's a lot of units that have Ranger main job, Ranger sub job, that these changes will benefit, particularly Barrage, and I do think Mega Charge as well. Strider is the last of the summer jobs that were updated. Strider got Spirit Ward update, so that was previously increasing attack by 40% for 3 turns for allies. It's also, I do believe it increased Spirit as well back then. I can't fully remember, but now it increases Spirit to 25 as well for allies. Frost Axe got an upgrade to decrease healing power by 40 for 3 turns. Twisting Shield Breaker breaks physical barrier. And dispels ignore fatal damage for target. Sorry, guys. And then Summer Killfate herself got an upgrade to the percentage absorption of Black Panther Punish. So very powerful for Summer Killfate. She's going to be healing herself to full almost every time she uses this ability. Now, the next job change that we're likely going to be seeing is going to be around Knight, Gunner, White Mage, Hunter, and Lord. The Knight job class has some really interesting changes here. Specifically, Trinity Break is going to increase slash attack resistance penetration 40, which is extremely powerful. Trinity Break, already a very powerful ability. Having the capability to increase the amount of damage you're already dealing is fantastic. TP Break has very limited uses in this game, but the fact that when you use it, it decreases CT on the target as well. It doesn't decrease it by very much, only 25x, but it is one of those things where when you need it and when you use it, it's a nice little thing to have. AP Break is also going to decrease acquired AP 50% for 3 turns for the target. Divine Heal is going to increase debuff resistance for all elemental resistances 100 for 3 turns. It's also going to increase healing power 30 for 3 turns for self as well. Holy Protection. So I actually think Knight got some of the best passive upgrades because a lot of units have sub Knight in their sub kit, and these passives are incredibly powerful. Holy Protection previously was just debuff resistance 15. Now it gives AoE resistance 12. HP up level 1 now gives slash attack resistance penetration 40 for self. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is so powerful. There are so many units that have sub Knight that not only is HP amazing, but having slash attack resistance penetration is going to make them, 10 times more relevant for content. Whisper got an upgrade to her protection break, which moved from medium to large damage for her job level 25 ability. Taking a look at Gunners. Gunners got a lot of interesting updates. Nothing I would say too game breaking. Blackout became an increased range, so it got a range +1. Vital Shot got upgraded to range height 2, which I think is very relevant, considering it's one of the more powerful attacks that you can pull off as a gunner, and it is knockback is always good. It also dispels auto AP restore and haste for the target now, which is great. Arm Shot is also going to reduce counter chance now for 3 turns, which is incredibly powerful. Counsel, which is an ability when you need it, it's not really useful, but when you do need it, it gives a really large amount of critical hit rate, but now it also gives critical damage 25 as well. So that's essentially adding a 0.25 mod in addition to adding your crit mod almost as well. Very powerful. And then of course, Frederica got an update to Piercing Shot, which is going to increase attack 40% for 3 turns when performing a critical hit. So overall, not crazy remarkable, but I would say good, useful things to think about, right? White Mage got very similar to Knight, some really powerful passive upgrades. Doom Nullify previously was just Nullify Doom, now increases magic 24% for self. Very good, particularly for white mages, since magic does increase the amount of healing done. I think one of the stealth updates here that a lot of people don't think about, particularly with White Mage sub, is going to be Regenerator, which is going to increase healing power from 10 to 20 for 3 turns when Regenerator does proc. That's going to make Regenerator even more powerful, and it's going to make other heals more effective. So I think about units like Nasha, when you're using her in PvE, in Select Quest, could make this very good. Curaga is going to get a range upgrade as well as a effect range upgrade, so it's now going to be the same space as the calculator Curaga, so it's going to be 2 spaces in front, to the left, to the right, and behind instead of 1 space. Holy is going to get Undead Killer times 25. Regen is now going to increase critical evasion 30. It's also going to increase healing power 30. We have Full Life is going to get an increase in casting range. And then we have Ayaka's job level 25 Melody of Divine Punishment is going to increase the amount of defense penetration that is given to allies. So it is going to increase it to 50 for 3 turns to allies. So very good for Ayaka, but overall really good for White Mage, and a really big win for passives, for Curaga, as well as for Regenerator. Now we have Hunter, and Hunter is interesting because in global right now, we have no other units with main job Hunter. Charisse is going to be coming out on the JP side, and Charisse is going to have the Hunter main job as well. And anything that says ice here is going to change to wind basically for her. So when you see like ice erosion trap, her ability is going to be wind erosion trap. So this is not a this is not an exclusive ability. This will be, the change to this ability will affect Charisse as well. So ice erosion trap, or the counter erosion trap basically that hunters are going to gets an increase in range, a substantial increase in range. So keep that in mind. Armor breaking arrow is going to increase defense penetration 40 now for self. And important note here is this does proc beforehand, it looks like, which is incredibly powerful. Tracking, so the ability that gave agility up for allies, attack up for self, is also going to increase counter block rate by 50 for 3 turns for self. Triple arrow, and I was surprised. I had to double check this. I didn't realize this wasn't already on triple arrow, but it's an increased modifier by 60% if the target has haste or berserk. I thought this was already in her kit, but it turns out it is not on triple arrow. And then of course the job level 25 ability, roaring arrow of release, gonna dispel, protect, and shell for targets. Got a change in AP cost, so it was reduced down to 35 AP. We did get an upgrade then to the third. So we're on the third round of job changes now. And this is going to be for the Lord class for Mont. And we got some pretty powerful changes here. So Throwstone got decreased defense penetration 30 on the target. Train Yourself, which is the buff ability, which increases attack 40%, increases single target resistance 15. Killer Blade also now gives defense penetration 30 for self. Beast Killing Blade increases the modifier, so it's now a 75x modifier for damage to beasts. Jammer Edge, which is an ability I felt like never really got used by Mont, got an increase in damage, so it was increased to 175x modifier. And then it got a decreased healing power 50 for 3 turns on the target. Again, not remarkable, but okay. And then the first aid ability restores HP 25% for allies. So previously this was like 10x, 25x. Now it's a flat percentage for first aid. So it will actually be useful. Prince of Leonis also got a passive change to give initial AP up 20 in addition to his attack 30% for the first Prince of Leonis passive, which is incredible. And I like the direction they seem to be going in War of the Visions right now, where they do tend to be giving more AP, it seems like. Green Mage got a whole host of changes here. First off, I love the change to Divine Protection, which initially was just debuff resistance 12. Now it has magic resistance 20% for self. All of the bar spells got buffed to 35% resistance. Dispel got a range increase, and it's a pretty substantial range increase as well. I believe Dispel is the range increase that got +3 range. I believe that was it. Let me double check here. Yeah, it got +3 range on it, which is incredibly awesome, incredibly powerful, and incredibly needed for Green Mage. Imperil got an update to the damage dealt, so it was increased to a large modifier. Deprotect and De-Shell, interestingly here, got an increase in range, got an increase in reduced defense and reduced spirit, so they both reduce 40 now. And they also, very similar to Kiraga, instead of being a cross-shaped attack, it's now a 2 diamond. So it's 2 forward, 2 back, 2 right, 2 left, diamond shape. So it's a huge area. It's like a massive area debuff. Very cool. And then Vitalize is going to increase the agility given now up to 40%. Now, we all know Samurai and Sir O is one of my favorite classes in the game, and they got a lot of changes, and a lot of changes that are really good here. So, the first update to Hien, when an enemy target is killed automatically, cast another attack skill on it, so AP recovery for self. So, this is really good. I really like this change to Hien. I think this is going to be very good. I think this is going to make Samurai a little bit more relevant, I would say. It was already relevant, Hien was, as a slash attack that had really good range height for chaining. Now, you know, it's a high modifier, potentially. It has range. You could gain AP when using it, or not lose AP, essentially. Gale, I still don't think you're going to be using the Samurai movement ability, even though it restores CT for self. I don't see us using this. Oborozuki, this is where we get into some of the interesting changes. Oborozuki slow decreases healing power 70 for 3 turns. Okay, that's okay. But I think where the real power here is it got upgraded to AoE height 1, which is extremely powerful. Congo as well got a ton of changes, and Congo just becomes a monster. Increases slash resistance penetration 40 for 3 turns at the end for self. The AP cost got reduced. The amount of cast got increased. Like, Congo is going to become so much more powerful. It was already incredible ability. And I would even say it's one of the abilities that didn't really need that much upgrading. And I'm surprised they just slammed it down on it. Meditation got doubled, so now it increases 10 to 20 bravery for allies. Illusion got AoE resistance 15 for 3 turns on allies, as well as AoE height 1 added to it, which is very substantial. And then Rob's job level 25 ability got an increase in critical hit rate chance, so it was like 15% before or something, and now it's 35%. Dispel to ignore fatal damage for targets. This is Vortex Blade, by the way, and it got upgraded to 3 casts. So anyone that's ever used Rob before, this is one of his best abilities, and the fact he got another cast, crit rate up, Dispel to ignore fatal damage is absolutely fantastic. The final job class that we're going to be talking about in this video, because I don't want to make a 50-minute long video talking about all of the job changes, is going to be Rune Knight. So Drain Evoke got an upgrade to slash attack resistance penetration 40. It just increased it to 3 turns. That's okay. I'll take that. I feel like Drain Evoke is already a powerful ability. Hazard Slash got upgraded, so it's going to consume less HP. It's going to only consume 10% ability HP. It's going to dispel shell on the targets, and it's going to be upgraded to 3 casts, which is very powerful. Sky Sword is going to increase killer against units with float. So that's going to become a 75x mod, very similar to the other killer abilities. What's interesting is that the killer modifiers didn't apply to like Iraga Blade here, which we're going to talk about. So Iraga Blade, instead of getting a modifier to the actual killer, it got decrease evasion 50, and then decrease critical evasion 50 on an earth target, which is really interesting to me. We don't really have things like this. Very interesting upgrade. I'm not sure it's going to be remarkable. When you need it, you'll probably need it, because I think a lot of the times when you are running Iraga Blade and such, it's usually when you're running MR units in some type of, you know, odd combination, but very cool. Howlett's job level 25 ability Magical Blade did get an increase of slash attack 20 for 3 turns at the end. And then Halloween Ryryu's ability grants Protect to him now, and it grants Regen for him. So very powerful buff here to Halloween Ryryu, and this is something to consider. We may actually see this buff come with Halloween Ryryu's re-release here, is something definitely to consider. Anyway, everybody, if this video is useful for you, let me know down in the comments down below. I am going to go ahead and cover a whole host of other changes for jobs. There's a lot of other job changes that are coming. And again, once this document is finished, I will upload it so that you guys can have a full PDF list of all of the job changes that are coming. I will try and update it in order so that you can be prepared for what's coming. And I hopefully will catch you guys next time.